My name is Michelle Esquenazi. I am the president of the New York State Bail Bondsman Association. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, Canarsie to be exact. My family are a bunch of Cuban immigrants to this country, and I am proud to be Latina American. Growing up in Brooklyn definitely made me who I am. I grew up in a time where mom stood out on the stoop and we played Ring Alivio and waited for the Good Humor Man. And one of the things that kind of guided us through our childhood was something called consequence. And we didn't dare sass our mothers, and that was just the way things were. While my father was always a shoe salesman in a way, much of the time, my mother was also a woman ahead of her time, and she worked and she ran the shoe shop. And the lady that took care of us was Haitian, and we learned patois, and we taught her English, and she was a wonderful lady. And from a very early age, we really knew nothing about color and all of that. We just kind of went to Haitian church, and we just did a little bit of everything. One of the biggest issues that I have, and I just really want to go on the record about this part of it as it relates to the bail reformers, is that they are describing people in this day and age in 2018 by color. I am a mother of a biracial child, and I find that to be incredibly archaic and insulting. So the brown and the black and all of that is extremely Archie Bunker in my judgment, and I think it's absolutely wrong, and I think we as New Yorkers deserve a lot more to describe people of color. I have people of color in my family that are officers, that are veterans, that are judges, that are politicians, that are black, brown, green, orange, polka dotted, and rainbow, just like my beautiful gay married daughter. To implement a system of bail reform this sweeping would be of great detriment to the good people of the state of New York. I realize that my industry has been incredibly vilified, and I'm sorry for that, because the fact of the matter is we are mom and pop shop nation. We are multi-generational businesses, and we serve an incredible function, a small, incredible function in any successful criminal justice system, especially here in the state of New York. We are 212 bail agents that service the state of New York, and we do it with pride and conviction, and we do a very good job at returning the warranted to the proper jurisdiction of the state of New York with absolutely zero taxpayer expense. I want you all to know that criminal offenders do not choose their victims by political ideology. They don't look on a subway platform and go, she is a conservative, she is a liberal, she's a Democrat, and I'm going to sexually assault her. Rewarding recidivism should not be the way that the state of New York moves this agenda forward. Clearly, we believe that the indigent should not be incarcerated. A few years back, our State Department of Financial Services decided that they were going to give that problem a title, and that title came in charitable bail funds. If people are lingering because they are indigent, that means that the charitable bail funds are not doing their job. They have a 2-year living requirement. Most people that are homeless don't live in the same place for 2 years. So that's some sort of fallacy that's going on. I also want you to know that just because a crime is nonviolent, it doesn't mean that it's non-victim. You have stalking, sexual abuse, escape, bail jumping, illegal abortion, vehicular manslaughter, Rob 3, identity theft, promoting obscene sexual performance by a child. All of these arraignments would be automatically released. And I am a mother of 4 children, and I have to tell you, I find that incredibly offensive. I know what I do. I've been doing it for well over 2 decades, and I'm always happy to have an intelligent conversation with any legislator from any side of the aisle. I just believe that public safety should really not be a political issue. I realize that it has come under the auspices of being a political issue, but it shouldn't be. New York is a political gateway, and we define the issue for the nation. We will define this issue for the nation. New Jersey is an abortion of justice. All you have to do is look across the river to see what Chris Christie left his citizens. They took off the moratorium on raising the taxes, and they raised the people's taxes by 2% to fund criminal release. If this is to be done, it should be done by virtue of a fact-based evidence study. The fact of the matter is there should also be a citizen's right to know. The good citizens of the state of New York have absolutely no idea what bail is. They don't even realize how it protects them. They don't even realize that while you are all sleeping, we are out picking up the warranted, and we are bringing them back to the proper jurisdiction so that they can be admonished by the court, and the district attorney does not have to sentence them in absentia, which costs the state of New York countless millions of dollars to do so. We are, like I said, we are a small industry, but we serve a great purpose to the state of New York. And to not see us as such only means that you have not met with us. I think it is unfair that in all of this bail reform, the legislators have met with the other side innumerable times, but they have never met with the private bail bond industry. And yes, we are small, 100%, but we're valuable. And to just get rid of us with one stroke of a pen would just be egg on the face of every legislator that moves that agenda forward. And I have a letter here from a Purple Heart recipient. His name is Assemblyman Bob Andrzejak, and he's from New Jersey, and he was one of the Democrats that sponsored the bail reform bill across our river. And he would like you to know that the law went into effect this past January, and it has been an absolute disaster. The public safety needs of citizens in New Jersey has suffered far greater than could have been imagined. The costs to the state have increased exponentially, and even worse, the constitutional rights of many of the accused are being infringed. So not only would this reform movement move all of the offenders out into an ROR status and move them back into the communities in which we live, and the communities of color, actually, it would also remand the variable of defendants. It's called preventative detention, and it's unfair, and it violates the 8th Amendment of the Constitution. The framers of the Constitution were here long before we were, and they thought the 8th Amendment was a very, very good idea. I also want you to know that the states that, the 3 top states that people are fleeing from right now are Illinois, New Jersey, and New York. We are going to suffer at the hands of this tax reform issue. We're moving into this season with quite the deficit, if you will. This is going to be quite the financial burden on the people of the state of New York, and we are injured in that regard quite enough. You will find in the testimony that we've given you, you will find that there is a report from an independent economist. He did the report for New Jersey, and he was kind enough to follow it up with a report for a year later, and he indicates an abysmal failure and a tremendous amount of money. The bail bond industry operates at absolutely zero taxpayer cost. We pay forfeitures, claims, we pay premium tax, we employ people. We probably employ about 2,000 people. The other thing that I want you to know is, as a Latino American person, I am part of the Minority Women Business Enterprise. That's who I am. Half of our members are minorities. They are Latinos, they are African Americans. And by doing something like this, you would be putting small businesses out of business. And that's something that I want each and every one of you to please think about as you move forward with this. Part of this really is accountability in making good decisions. So I really think that what we need to do is just simply come together and have a dialogue and maybe really talk about this further, because to be quite honest with you, to implement something like this and remove judicial discretion is going to be a failure for the state of New York. And I, as a New Yorker, implore you, as a mother, I implore you, as a bail bond agent, I implore you to think about this prior to just doing it.